Welcome to Jaed English Center, where every story teaches us English and also teaches us life. Today's story is not just about blindness, it's about vision. The kind of vision that comes from the heart. It's about a woman who could not see the colors of the world, yet she painted the lives of hundreds of children with hope and dreams. She lived in darkness, but became the light for others. She lost her sight, but never lost her purpose. Her journey will remind us that real strength doesn't come from what we see. It comes from what we believe. So, sit back, listen carefully, and let this story touch your heart. Because sometimes the people who cannot see the world see it more beautifully than anyone else.
Her name was Anita, a bright and curious girl from a small village in southern India. She loved to wake up early, listen to the birds, and watch the sunrise over the green fields near her home. Every day, she walked to school with her little notebook pressed tightly to her chest. She dreamed of becoming a teacher, someone who could share knowledge and make others smile. But life had a different plan. When Anita was only 10 years old, she fell sick with a fever that lasted for many days. Her parents took her to the local clinic, but the doctor said the infection had reached her eyes. At first, her vision became blurry. She could only see shadows. Then, slowly, the world began to fade. One morning, she woke up and realized she could no longer see the sunlight through her window. The colors, the faces, the beauty of the world all disappeared into darkness. Her mother cried silently, holding Anita in her arms. Her father stood outside, helpless, staring at the ground. The doctor told them there was no cure. Anita was blind. Forever. For days, the little girl refused to speak. She sat in a corner, listening to the voices around her. She could hear children laughing outside, playing, studying. And she wished she could be with them again. Inside her heart, fear began to grow. She thought,
How will I read? How will I study? How will I live?
many people in the village whispered.
She will never go back to school.
Some even said,
It's better if she stays home. She can't do anything now.
but Anita was not an ordinary girl. She listened to all those words, and one night, she made a promise to herself.
I may not see the world,
She whispered.
but I can still change it.
From that moment, something changed inside her. She decided that blindness would not be the end of her story. It would be the beginning of a new one. She began to explore the world again, through touch, through sound, through feeling. She learned to recognize her mother's footsteps, the sound of rain on the roof, and the warmth of sunlight on her face. She started to believe that even if her eyes couldn't see beauty, her heart still could. And that small spark, that tiny light inside her heart, was the beginning of a journey that would inspire thousands. After losing her sight, Anita could have given up, but she didn't. Instead, she began to see the world in a new way, through sound, touch, and imagination. One afternoon, her mother took her to a special school for blind children in the city. It was Anita's first time being around others like her. Children who could not see, but who laughed, studied, and dreamed just like everyone else. For the first time since her blindness, she felt she belonged. There, Anita discovered Braille, the magical language of dots that you can read with your fingers. At first, it felt strange. She touched the little bumps on the paper, but couldn't understand anything. Many nights, she sat awake, frustrated and tired. But she refused to stop. She told herself,
If my eyes can't read, my hands will learn how to.
slowly, she began to master it. She spent hours tracing letters, forming words, and reading whole stories. Every sound, every touch, every heartbeat became part of her learning. When other children were playing outside, Anita was inside, reading, writing, and dreaming. Her teachers were amazed. She remembered every voice, every lesson. If someone spoke once, Anita could repeat the entire sentence perfectly. She listened more deeply than anyone else, because for her, sound was her sight. Years passed. Anita completed her education with top results. But she didn't stop there. She wanted to give back what she had received, the gift of knowledge and hope. So she decided to become a teacher, not just any teacher, but a teacher for blind and poor children like her. When she first entered her classroom, she touched the walls, the tables, the chalk, and smiled. It was not just a room. It was a place of light, even though none of them could see. Every morning, Anita greeted her students with the same words.
You are not weak. You are warriors with different eyes.
Her students loved her. They laughed, sang songs, and told stories through touch and sound. She played soft music while they studied because she believed that music helps the heart to learn faster. Sometimes she would tell them stories about great people who never gave up, like Helen Keller and Louis Braille himself. She told them,
If they could change the world, so can you.
her classroom was full of joy, music, and dreams. There were no tears, no self-pity, only courage. To the world outside, it looked like a school for blind children. But to Anita, it was a school of light. Because every child there, though blind, had the brightest heart she had ever known. As the years passed, Anita's name began to spread beyond her small classroom. People started calling her
The woman who taught without sight.
One day, she realized something. There were many blind and poor children in nearby villages who had no access to education. Some of them didn't even know that learning was possible for them. Anita couldn't forget their faces, their voices, their loneliness. So, with her savings and a heart full of courage, she decided to open her own school. A place where every child, no matter how poor or blind, could learn and dream. She didn't have money to rent a proper building, so she started under a big tree beside a quiet road. Her classroom had no walls, no electricity, only mats on the ground and a few old Braille books. But for those children, it felt like heaven. Every morning, Anita arrived early. She touched the ground, smiled, and said,
This is not just a school, this is a home of dreams.
At first, only 5 students came, but soon more and more children began to join. Local people noticed the change. A shopkeeper donated notebooks, a tailor made school uniforms, and a farmer brought milk for the children. Slowly, Anita's small classroom grew into a real school. The village began to change. People started believing that education was not only for those who could see, but also for those who had the courage to dream. Her students learned Braille, music, and storytelling. Some even went on to attend college. They often said,
Teacher Anita not only taught us letters, she taught us life.
one of her students once said with tears.
When I could not see my future, Teacher Anita showed it to me.
And that one sentence became the heart of Anita's life. The proof that one woman, even without sight, could open the eyes of the world. Anita's story is not just about losing her sight. It's about finding her purpose. She proved to the world that real vision doesn't come from our eyes. It comes from our heart. There are people who can see everything: the sky, the trees, the faces around them. Yet they walk through life without truly seeing. And then there are people like Anita, who may live in darkness, but still show others the way to light. Her life reminds us that sometimes life takes something away from us: a dream, an ability, or a person we love. But even then, we still have the power to give. Anita gave hope. She gave knowledge. And most importantly, she gave love. She taught her students to believe in themselves, to fight for their dreams, and to never think of blindness as a weakness. For her, blindness was not a prison. It was just another path to greatness. Every time her students achieved something, Anita felt like she could see again. Not with her eyes, but with her soul.
You don't need eyes to see beauty.
She once said softly.
You just need love to feel it.
And maybe that's the most beautiful truth of all. Because in a world full of people chasing success and perfection, Anita showed that kindness and courage shine brighter than anything else. So, whenever you feel lost or broken, remember her story. Remember that your light doesn't depend on what you have. It depends on what you give. Thank you for watching Jaed English Center, where we learn English through true and powerful stories. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a little hope today. And never forget, even in darkness, you can still be the light.